Yeah, how much are Metallica tickets?
Well,
I mean, it's well known, so you can say it.
We paid. I got 8 tickets for like $5,500. Wow. Yeah. And they weren't even great seats. I looked at everyone around us and I was like, "How did you guys afford this?"
Welcome back to another video. If you've just come home from a hard day's work, it's time to sit down, relax, and celebrate the success of Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. Because if there's anyone in the Rogan universe that knows how to celebrate themselves, it's these two Muppets.
They reposted
me 3 times. Metallica reposted me 3 times.
Wow, what a guy. You know you've made it when you can fill a whole 90-minute podcast just using humble brags. What an achievement. But it's not all as it seems. Bert Kreischer's a family man, you see, and he loves to spoil his daughters. So he bought a whole bunch of tickets to the Metallica concert so they could all go and have a sick time together. But what happens when your own daughter doesn't roll like you do? What if she just wants to be normal?
And so she just wanted regular seats. She wanted to pick them out. She didn't want to do any of the backstage, any of the I hit up 5 Finger Death Punch. She's like, I don't want to go backstage. I don't want to do any of that. I just want my friends to be, I want to be normal with my friends. It's like, what the fuck is broken about this kid?
Ah, of course, she must be broken. Bert never disappoints, huh? So we're going to take a look at Bert's struggles as a rich and famous celebrity and how it's impacting his ability to bond with the people around him. And if you want to know just how bad it's gotten, I only had room to include about 20% of the clips I pulled out of this episode. Like, actually. But just before we get into all the cringe and carry on, a massive shout out to my 12,500 subscribers. The cringe rebellion is growing by the day. I should probably get some merch for you guys. Leave that with me. And also a very special mention to my ground level crew for always turning up in the comment section. I see you guys dropping bombs down there. I always appreciate your input. So look, let's get back to these Muppets in a cave. Bert's battling some demons at the moment because he's finding it difficult to leave the house and do normal things. Everyone just wants a piece of him. Just ask him, he'll tell you. And it's getting to the point where it's starting to drive a wedge between him and his daughter. Take a look.
I think she was a little freaked out that she would not look very normal to her friends. Because when you go to those events, as you know, like sometimes they roll out the red carpet, and they'll be like, "Yo," and I mean this sincerely. It's sometimes needed. Like last night, thank you everyone at Metallica that said hi. It was really pleasant.
Yeah.
But I had to separate from Isla because it was distracting from her and her friends' time.
Okay.
So I had to separate and just do pictures, and I did pictures for. I had to call it and be like, "Yo, the show's starting. Like, I gotta go." And so it was I got recognized an insane amount just walking to the car, and
Sure.
and Isla didn't want her friends to see any of that. That's why I'm not going Sunday. So.
Geez, the trials and tribulations of celebrity life. I'm just so glad we're all here to witness it. But look, on a more serious note, what is this podcast? No, actually, just think about that for a moment. What's the point of it? Basically, Bert and Tom sit down across from each other and basically have a catch-up that most people would normally just do off camera. They don't prepare anything, there are no talking points, they're constantly just pulling random stuff out of thin air. And if they run out of stuff to talk about, well, Bert just makes up some story.
We're driving down, and Leanne tells a story about James Hetfield. She was like, one time she was at she was a waitress, and this guy was like harassing her, and he's being a dick. And James Hetfield walked up to, she was like, no, I mean, he was still in Metallica, but he walked up to the guy and he's like, "Hey, how about you get the out of here before I take you out of here?" The guy's like, "What?" And he goes, "No one talks to anyone like that. No one's allowed to talk to people like that." Leanne's just some waitress. I think at the Chateau Marmont, maybe. And she's like, and the guy's like, go f yourself. He's like, "I will take it outside right now." And he's like, "Over her?" And he's like, "Yeah, over her. Let's go." And the guy's like, "The man?" He's like, "Yeah, get the out of here. I'll walk you out." The guy walks away, and James Hetfield looks at him and says, "Sorry you had to deal with that." She was like, "It's okay." And he goes, "No, it's not okay. No one should be talked to like that." And he just walked away. She went back and said, "Can I buy you a drink?" And he went, "No, I'm fine. Thanks." Just don't you love when you hear good guy stories like on the DL? Of course. On the DL. Like, no one's supposed to know how good this guy is, and then it comes out.
Okay, there is no doubt in my mind that story is fake. He just made it up, for sure. Not because I don't like James Hetfield, I'm a massive Metallica fan. Well, maybe when I was 15, but just because Bert is known to completely make up stories, especially when they're about his wife. I made a previous video covering Bert's latest appearance on his wife's podcast. That's right, even his wife has a podcast. And half the time it was just Leanne correcting Bert and even calling him out for embellishing stories. And it seems like it wasn't just me calling BS on his James Hetfield story. Someone in the comments said, "It's always fun to hear Leanne's James Hetfield story and know the true version was a guy who looked sort of like him, told a guy who was being loud at the bar to be quiet, and that was the end of it." Bert's the guy at school whose dad could beat up your dad, the guy who has the better bike or went on the bigger holiday. Everyone knows that guy. And so with all this concert talk, Tom made an interesting observation, being the industrious entrepreneur that he is. Take a look.
Do you know how brilliant that is from a business, by the way, what they did for people that don't know? So it's called like the no repeats. So a lot of times when a band of that magnitude plays a city, they're like, we're doing Friday, Saturday at SoFi. Mm-hmm. You're a fan. You go, all right, I'll go to Friday, see the show. Well, on this tour, they're saying that, and when they go to a city and they play more than one, the two shows won't be the same.
So basically, this is kind of a cool idea. Instead of just getting tickets to a concert on one night, you get a weekend pass and you go on a Friday night for all their classic hits and then on the Saturday night for all their newer stuff. So this obviously only works for older bands with a big catalogue of music. So if you've got the time and money to dedicate a whole weekend to seeing your favourite band, then yeah, I guess it might work. But Bert, on the other hand, he's not a mere pedestrian like you and me. Between his comedy brain and business intelligence, he somehow concocted this brilliant idea for his stand-up comedy.
Can I tell you what I wanted to do? And I didn't know if this would work, but I wanted to sell two shows. I wanted to do two shows, but do it in theaters, and to have the first show be all old material.
All the hits.
And then the second show, all new material. After Fully Loaded, I got offers from some of these bigger venues, outdoor venues going, yo, how do I get you here for 2 days? Because for them, it makes more sense to lock us down for 2 days.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to figure that out now. And I said, what if I did like a festival with like, say, me, you, Sebastian, Eliza, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, some people have a couple Netflix specials.
Yeah.
And the first day is all old material.
Yeah.
Like all the bangers. And the second day is all new material. Same comics, same new material. I couldn't get anyone to bite. Like, everyone was like, it doesn't make sense. Why would anyone want to see old stuff? And I was like, I don't know.
Oh, that's a mad idea. Let's go see Bert Kreischer doing stand-up with Eliza Schlesinger.
But I had him on my podcast, and he was very sincere.
Okay, cool. I've had my mom on my podcast. You want to flex? I'm just saying.
I think he's very sincere. I think he's very idealistic.
Oh man, that never gets old. I could watch that on repeat all day. Anyway, back to Bert's deeply original idea for a 2-day comedy fest. He's such a thinker, old Bert. And it's a pity he couldn't get the suits to agree, because even Tom was on board to do something like this.
I'd be interested to see what a fan base responds with, because there's definitely people that are comedy fans that go, I would like to do that. Like, I'd like to see that. But you have to have them 100% on board with that, What are you doing?
I'll find out.
What are you doing?
Hey guys, we're curious. It's me and Tom.
What's up, guys?
If we did a 2-day festival, meaning 2 days at, say, like somewhere like Red Rocks, first night we each did about 45 minutes
of the hits,
all the old stuff, and the second night did all new stuff. Would you buy a 2-day pass for me and Tom? That's our question. Answer in there, and then we'll have the answer by the end.
Alrighty then, so let's see what some of their listeners thought. Number one selling point of the 2-night old new Tom Bert gigs, skipping the first night of Bert so you don't have to hear the machine bit. I'd be open to the idea of buying tickets to Bert's show if he was doing other people's material. Jeez, that's brutal. The problem with Bart's idea is that the entire 2 hours will be him telling the machine, yawn. You cannot convince me that if Bert did the 2 shows, he would tell his machine joke at only one of them. You know he would end up adding it to his new material. Wow, these are his listeners. Brent's compulsive obsession with FaceTiming guests at the mere mention of their name is remarkable. Man, he's something else. Geez, okay, sounds like it might not be a great idea. We'll have to bin that one for now. So then with all this business talk, Bert felt like he needed to get something off his chest. And hey, a video about Tom and Bert wouldn't be complete without one of them complaining about poor people.
You know, sometimes, and I mean this with love, but sometimes you'll get the fan that comments on how much your ticket costs, and it'll be shitty. I remember the first time it ever happened to you, to me, meaning we were in Philly, and this dude's like, dude, Tom, dude, he's charging $30 a ticket. That guy, who the does he think he is? I remember being scared. I remember being like, ooh, don't charge more than 20. And then I talked to you, and you were like, that guy, what did he look like? I go, he looked like pretty homeless. And you're like, yeah, I don't want him at my show. You're like, if you don't like me for an extra $10, you're like $10.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, man, when you love something, I don't mind going out of pocket a little bit for the experience.
Sure.
I don't mind going in and seeing a little extra. Like, we got not the best tickets, but we paid way more than anyone was paying for my show. Way more.
In case you didn't quite catch that little bit at the end, and no, you're not mistaken if you did, Bert Kreischer just compared his stand-up show to a Metallica concert. Like, he actually just said that in broad daylight into a microphone with cameras on. And as I was scrolling through the comments, I found one that perfectly captured my thoughts. Love how millionaires are going, I don't mind spending some extra cash for the experience. Ah, those damn helicopter rides, hey Tom? I've said it before and I'll say it again, these dudes are just completely out of control. I seriously don't understand the point of their podcast anymore, and as one of their viewers put it, this feels like when your estranged brother finally comes home for Christmas and is giving you his life update. These are basically just conversations you'd have with a friend off camera. In this whole episode, there were several occasions where Bert was literally just sitting there trying to find something in his phone to send to the computer guy so he could pull it up on the screen for everyone to see. Like full on just dead air. No one saying anything, just scrolling through his phone.
I have it on my phone. I'll just send it to you. It's probably so much easier. I'm so not. Ben's like a good dude. Like, he doesn't curse.
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything. He's just a good dude. Halston, I'll just send it to you. It'll be so much easier. So, Bert's MacBook Pro. Let's see. That's me. No. Here we go. That's me. Okay, so this is, nope, not edit, cancel. This is share and share. Here's me and Bennisgrins to, no people found, Halston. Hang on.
Okay.
General, airdrop, everyone, photos, Halston, to Halston? Okay.
This is peak podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get better than this. Why bother planning out a few clips and topics to talk about before you start recording when you can just do it while you're sitting there at the table? The worst part is they actually have staff. They've got people working for them. They wouldn't even have to do that much work themselves. Just send them the links before the show or give them the timestamps or whatever. How hard is it? These kind of unprepared podcasts only work with one or two guests on, so you can bounce the conversation around and fill in the dead air with bits and pieces. Instead, we get two middle-aged has-beens fumbling through their phones like your grandma trying to find something that made them laugh from 3 days ago. But hey, no one's forcing you to watch it. That's what I'm here for. So let me know what you guys think, drop a comment below and I'll pin the best comment. Hit the like button and become a subscriber so you get my uploads in your feed, and I'll chat to you guys in the next one.
Be pretty fun to do the hits.
It would be so fun to do the hits, and then I'll come up and tell one of my favorite jokes of yours, and then you can tell the machine.
I'll be like, when I was 22, I got involved with the Armenian mafia.
All right, so I'm getting this steak.
Okay.